Hello everyone and welcome inside the Chrysler Center for an exciting matchup between two of the best in the Big Ten. I'm Ashley Bueller alongside my sister Brittany, and we've got a great matchup coming up with two of the best teams in the nation. We got the number 3 ranked Michigan Wolverines and the number 11 Ohio State Buckeyes. The Buckeyes are off to a great start this season, posting the 3rd highest score in program history last weekend against Iowa, while the Wolverines are looking to put last weekend's meet against Michigan State behind them, Brett.
Yeah, the Wolverines didn't have their best performance against their in-state rival Michigan State last weekend. The Spartans actually edged out the Wolverines for the first time since 2007, but the team isn't getting caught up in that. You know, they know where they need to improve, and they're ready just to keep moving forward because they have a lot of really big goals for the season, and they know what they're capable of. Last time they were at home, the team posted a 198.125, making them the first team in the nation to eclipse that 188 mark this season. And it's honestly performances like that that are going to help them reach their goal of winning another NCAA championship. Honestly, in a sport like gymnastics, it's a marathon, not a sprint, and this team is very much focused on what lies ahead, but I will say they can't have another off meet like they did last weekend if they want to beat this Ohio State team.
Absolutely, yeah. Ohio State has looked incredible this season, and they're definitely the kind of team that can rise to the occasion. They started the season off with their highest season opening score in program history. They've knocked off 2 SEC teams already this season with Kentucky and Georgia, and then last weekend they came away with a victory against the Iowa Hawkeyes, a team that's been a force in the Big Ten for the last few seasons, and they did that with their 3rd highest score in program history, which was a 197.225. So they're doing big things, and we're looking to keep that momentum going here today. The Buckeyes are led by Meredith Polisivic, and we talked to her earlier in the week, and she said that she really expects Michigan to come back roaring after their performance against Michigan State. And although her team is doing so incredible this season, they're not really focused on winning this meet necessarily. They're more focused on the current situation, and for them, that's the fact that it's their first dual road meet of the season, and kind of just focusing on what that looks like, what that feels like, and also, most importantly, getting a good road score for NQS, which will kick in next month.
Yeah, she said that they want to, of course, put pressure on Michigan, and they know that they're a good team and they're a team that's capable of doing that, but they also want to just stay in their bubble and not get too caught up in what they've done earlier in the season. Like you said, Ashley, they're having an incredible start to their season, 3 meets in a row that they've won. So, they're cautiously optimistic is what she said. They, of course, are proud of that, and they want to keep that energy going here today, but even more importantly, they know they have more work to do, and, they're just staying humble and hungry.
Yes, absolutely love that she said that. And for Michigan, obviously led by Bev Plotke, not thrilled with their performance last weekend against Michigan State, but also not catastrophic, and the team knows that. They didn't have a bunch of falls or anything too major. It was just little things and them not being as sharp as they could be, but, we talked to Bev, and she said that there was a lot of teachable moments from that competition that she thinks will help the team later down the line.
Yeah, she told us that, a good team has to be able to go into any environment, whether they're at home or they're at an away meet, and be able to put their best foot forward. They have to be in the right zone. They got to be in the right mindset to be able to perform at their best, and that's something that they're really going to take away from the Michigan State meet. They can't let mistakes from, the first rotation carry over into the next. They really got to have a clean slate and not let that affect their performance going forward and their energy, most importantly.
And also just being realistic and knowing that the team's not going to be 100% all of the time, especially this early in the season. So she's aware of that. The team's aware of that. And like we said right off the top, this team is very, very good, and they know what they're capable of. So it's going to be an exciting matchup here today, and a good first rotation. We got Michigan starting on vault. They're ranked number 2 in the nation there, and then Ohio State starting on bars, where they're 8th in the nation on that event. So we're going to go ahead and give you the lineups. For Michigan on vault, the leadoff will be Reina Gugino. Natalie Boychuk will be 2nd, Gabby Wilson 3rd, Naomi Morrison 4th, Sierra Brooks 5th, and Abby High School will be in the anchor position. And then there's an exhibition slated for Kaylin Morgan, the freshman.
And then for Ohio State on bars, Emma Pritchard will be in the leadoff spot, followed by Peyton Harris, then Lexi Edwards, then Tori Vetter, Nicole Riccardi, and their anchor, Colby Miller.
And then Alexis Hankins is scheduled for an exhibition for Ohio State on that event. So we got just a couple seconds left here in the warm-ups. And then we'll get going with Reina Gugino for Michigan. Obviously, Michigan and Ohio State are two teams that have a very big rivalry, and especially in other sports. But I thought it was interesting when we talked to Meredith Pulisic, something that she said was, how much love the Big Ten schools in gymnastics have for each other. And obviously, they're competitive and they want to beat each other, but they have a lot of respect for each other and the things that they're doing. And really just like a big family out here. And I think that's really cool, especially compared to other sports where things are ultra super competitive.
Right. Yeah, she said that, we talked actually about how much the Big Ten is growing. We're seeing a lot of these Big Ten teams really step up nationally in the rankings. There's actually 6 teams in the top 20 right now, which is super, super exciting. Ohio State obviously being one of them. And this is going to be a really, really exciting competition. So with Michigan starting on vault, I know last week at Michigan State, they weren't really able to get any of their landings. They were either just a little bit short and taking steps back, or they had a little too much energy and were bouncing forward. So the goal for them here today is going to be to really key in on those landings and try and minimize deductions as much as they can.
And you're going to see Michigan going for the big vaults. They're taking the risk and they're hoping for high reward. They're going to have a full lineup of 10-0 start values, which is something that not many teams in the nation can say that they can do. And that's mainly because when they stick it, they go big. I mean, this team can easily go over 49-4, even if they don't stick the landing, even if they just have like a small hop or a step. So this is a big event for them with huge scoring potential. Already this season, they got a 49-6-5 in their home opener. And that's
which is incredible.
Yeah, huge score. And last season, they actually set their program record on this event, a 49-8-7-5, which is also just so happens to be the second highest score in program history, so no big deal. So leading things off for Michigan on vault is Reina Gugino. Wasn't in the lineup last week, had a fall on bars at practice and hurt her back a little bit, so they were just resting her. But this is a big vault. She's actually scored a 10 on this vault before. Yurchenko 1.5. Just a small step forward on the landing, but good form in the air and a controlled step.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to see. You don't want to have too much power, which I think honestly starting on vault in front of a home crowd, it can be hard to control that energy right off the bat, but she did a lovely job. Okay, now we have over on the bars for Ohio State, Emma Pritchard.
A little bit short on that first handstand. Ginger release connected right down to the low bar, overshoot. And definitely trying to make sure she hit that handstand mark on that last one there.
Yep, a little bit over, but really pulled it around and was able to get that stuck landing exactly the way you want to finish.
And a good way to start the rotation. Obviously, it's a hit routine. And that's exactly what you want your leadoff to do, is go up there and hit a good routine.
Now we have fifth-year senior Natalie Wojcik following the 9.85 from Reina Gugino.
This is going to be another Yurchenko 1.5.
Oh, and she almost, it looked like she kind of missed the block a little bit.
Didn't quite get the push off the table that she wanted, which therefore meant she didn't get a lot of height, and you saw that step backwards, which is a sign of under rotation. So
not the best that she's done. She is capable of perfection on this event.
Yeah, actually, Michigan's entire lineup, aside from Naomi Morrison, has gone 10 at one point in their career. Naomi's career high is a 9.975. So, we talk about that potential on vault for Michigan. I think that speaks for itself. So up next on bars for Ohio State, we're going to have Peyton Harris, the freshman. Has a career high of 9.875 on this event.
And she is a really, really exciting freshman that you're going to want to keep your eyes on this season.
Absolutely. Don't let freshmen fool you. She's incredible.
Yeah, she actually comes in as the level 10 all-around and vault champion from her senior season last year as a level 10. And expected to do big things here for Ohio State. She's going to be following the 9.825 from Emma Pritchard.
Very nice. Big release move to start off the routine. A little bit short on these handstands. I'd like to see her open her hips up a little bit more just to get that perfect line right on top of the bar. But that's something that I think is going to come with time and come with experience. Giant full into a double tuck and holds on to the stuck landing. Very nicely done.
That was something that Ohio State did really well in their meet last week against Iowa. They stuck, I believe, every single bar dismount, if I'm not mistaken. So nice to see that they're keeping that going here today at Michigan. And now we have senior Gabby Wilson following the 9.8 from Natalie Wojcik.
And this is a big vault. Another Yurchenko 1.5. And just that hop forward on the landing, the judges are going to take about a 10th for that, but really clean in the air, great amplitude, does a great job of pushing through her shoulders to get that big block in the air and really explodes off the table, and you can see that there. That's following the 9.8 from Natalie Wojcik right before her.
Next up on bars for Ohio State, Alexis Edwards.
Now we have Alexis Edwards for Ohio State. She's following the 9.8 from Peyton Harris. And she has really nice lines on this event. Does a great job of hitting those handstands. And I love that Maloney there keeps her legs glued together all the way through to the pack salto.
Actually has a career high of 9.925 on that event.
See why. Just gearing up for the dismount.
Really good, giant full, pretty good on top of the bar as far as the handstand goes, and then double tuck with the stuck landing. They definitely have sticky feet again here today.
Okay, now back to the vault. We have Naomi Morrison following the 9.9 from Gabby Wilson. So the scores are building for Michigan. It's exactly what you want to see.
Another Yurchenko 1.5, very clean in the air and gets the stuck landing. That is going to be a huge score. Just like with the rest of Michigan's lineup, she does a great job of getting lots of amplitude off the table.
And distance as well.
Yeah, distance and also the clean body position in the air. I mean, doesn't really give too much to deduct aside from whatever she does on the landing, and she just stuck it. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the score.
Going back to bars, we have Tori Vetter. She's following the 9.85 from Alexis Edwards.
And the score just came in for Naomi Morrison, a 9.975, so matches her career high on that event.
Nice handstand there off the top. Full pirouette right on top of the bar. And a little bit off on that. She was able to pull it back. Had a little bit of arch in the back. You want to ideally keep your core tight and really squeeze to be able to hold that handstand position. But
nice full twisting double back dismount. Just a small step on that landing. But
yeah, about a half tenth, I would say. But yeah, a really good routine.
So now next up for Michigan on ball is going to be Sierra Brooks. And what do you do after Naomi Morrison goes up and puts up a 9.975? Sierra Brooks, you know, there's one thing she's really great at. It's sticking her landings. She stuck several of these in the warm-up. Let's see what she does right here, right now. Oh, and another stuck landing.
That's what you do to answer your question. You follow it up with another stick.
You know, sticks can be contagious, and we've seen that with Michigan many times where someone goes up and sticks, and then it creates a train of sticks where everyone goes up and starts nailing their landings, and maybe that's what we have a little bit going on here now.
Well, and I think it's the energy. I think you get a stick, the team is pumped up, now that energy carries through the rest of the lineup. And
similar to Naomi's vault, not really a lot to deduct on with that vault aside from whatever she does on the landing. So everyone's anxiously looking at the scoreboard right now to see what the score is going to be. And it's a 9.95 for Sierra Brooks, so really great score.
Next up on bars for Ohio State, Nicole Riccardi.
Now we have Nicole Riccardi following the 9.825 from Tori Vetter. So Ohio State is looking good here on bars.
Nicole is someone that when we talked to Meredith earlier in the week, she said that Nicole has really stepped up this season and is really coming into her own. You can see she's beautiful on this event. Hasn't done floor yet this season. That's an event that they're hoping and actually expecting to get her on as the season progresses, but just a beautiful bar worker, and that's why she's towards the end of this lineup.
I love these handstands.
You see right there, she does a Stalder into a double tuck, and of course gets the stuck landing. That Stalder helps get her that 10-0 start value. You kind of need that combination if you're going to do just a double tuck dismount, because it's only a C scale. You need something to connect into it, whether it be a Stalder or a giant full, to get that 10-0 start value.
And now we have Abbey High School. Another one of those fifth-year seniors who is incredible on this event.
Watch the form and the technique of this vault. So good. And just the hop forward on the landing, but much more control than we saw from her last weekend, and she's going to be happy with that one. In my opinion, one of the best vaults in the NCAA. Just so picture perfect as far as form and technique goes.
Yeah, really, the only deduction for Abbey typically only comes on the landing and what she does there.
Right, like we've said with all Michigan's vaults, that's kind of the story for Michigan. Really great technique, and that's something that Bev talked to us about as well, as they really focus on that technique, and then the landings sort of just come after you focus on getting good height and being clean.
And they could go for Yurchenko fulls and maybe have a higher stick rate sometimes, but they really value going for that difficulty. And now we have Colby Miller, the Big Ten bar champion from last year.
Legs came apart a little bit on top of the bar, the low bar there, when she hit that handstand. But that's just a minor deduction, maybe a half-tenth. Otherwise, doing a really great job of squeezing her legs together, just like she did right there on that double layout, and leaned forward a little bit on that landing. Looked like she almost wanted to take a step, but she didn't. She held that stick, feet didn't move.
That's a veteran move. She's following the 9.875 from Nicole Riccardi, so this is going to be a great bar score for Ohio State. And then we have an exhibition performance for Michigan. We have Kaylin Morgan, the freshman, somebody that Bev Plotke really expects to blossom in the coming years.
And a really great Yurchenko full, great body position in the air. She's excited about that one, as she should be. Does a pretty good job of maintaining that straight body position as she comes down into the ground. Sometimes you see girls pike their hips a little bit. She did a really good job. She's actually training a Yurchenko 1.5. Don't think we're going to see it this season, but something down the line that we might see in Michigan's lineup potentially is a Yurchenko 1.5 for Kaylin Morgan, which is very exciting. Michigan with a 49.575 on vault, so just a little bit short of what they did earlier this season in the home opener. And a 9.9 for Colby Miller to round things out for Ohio State on bars. They got a 49.275. And that brings up Alexis Hankins in the exhibition spot.
Starts out with a nice handstand on top of the bar into a Jaeger.
We'd like to see maybe a little bit more height on that Jaeger. You really want to see the hips rise above the bar as much as possible.
See if she can get the stick. Oh, and just a small hop. She piked down her hips a little bit on that second layout, but a very, very nice routine, and one that can, I would think, it contend for a spot in that lineup.
Absolutely. So we have Michigan with a 49.575 after the first rotation to Ohio State's 49.275. Great start for both of these teams in rotation one, and we're going to do a little flip-flop. Michigan's going to go to bars. Ohio State's going to go to vault next. And we will join you for that rotation momentarily. back on BTN Plus with Michigan and Ohio State. Michigan leading Ohio State after the first rotation with a 49-575 to Ohio State's 49-275. What were the rotation highlights for you, Brittany, in that first rotation?
Well, I guess starting with Ohio State, I was really impressed with the number of stuck dismounts that we saw. I think that's really speaks to their potential on this event. They were able to actually drop a 9.8, which is really impressive. Nicole Riccardi's 9.875 and Kobe Miller, the Big Ten bar champion, with the 9.9. To go 1-2 at the end of that lineup was absolutely incredible.
Definitely
exactly the kind of scores they were looking for.
Yeah, I was just going to say, the perfect way to cap off that rotation for sure. And then Michigan on vault, phenomenal as always. The big 10-0 start value vaults, I think, paid off in the scores. And also the fact that they were able to control the landings, and that's something that was much better than what we saw last weekend at Michigan State. Naomi Morrison, the 9.975.
It's got to be a highlight.
Right. So next rotation, we have Ohio State on vault. We'll start off with Tori Vetter, Nicole Riccardi, Raina Malice, Sydney Jennings, Jenna Levac, and then Peyton Harris in the anchor spot.
And then for Michigan over on bars, we have Abbey High School in the leadoff spot, followed by Naomi Morrison, Carly Bauman, Sierra Brooks, Natalie Wojcik, and JC Vore making her lineup debut this season in the anchor position.
But it's a position that she has been in before. She was in the lineup last season on this event and has done very, very well. So looking forward to finally seeing her in the lineup this season.
And I believe we'll be getting an exhibition routine from Kaylin Morgan as well. Very excited to see that. And we are just a couple seconds away here from the start of rotation 2.
Something you're going to notice on vault for Ohio State that's a little bit different than what we saw with Michigan is the lack of 10-0 star values. They don't have as many. They have 2 in their lineup right now with freshman Peyton Harris and then Jenna Levac. The rest are Yurchenko fulls, but very great Yurchenko fulls. We're talking good form and technique, good amplitude, and really just needing to find those landings, which they've done pretty well with this season. And 10-0 start values is something that they're working on. Coach Paula Civic said that, in the offseason, they definitely work those 10-0 start values, and hopefully going forward we'll see more of that for Ohio State, because I think that is definitely going to help them remain competitive with some of the best teams in the nation.
Absolutely.
So this is Tori Vetter leading things off on vault. Yurchenko full, pretty clean in the air, just that hop back on the landing. I'd say the judges are going to take about a 10th on that. And of course, the Yurchenko full starts from a 9.95, so the maximum score you can get if you do a perfect vault would be a 9.95.
For Michigan on the bars, Abbey High School.
First up for Michigan, we have Abbey High School. She is phenomenal on this event. It's probably one of the best leadoffs in the country, I would say. She consistently can go up and get, a 9.85 plus score. Handstands like that are always super impressive.
Definitely a strength for her. And she sometimes gets a little bit close on that Jaeger. You see the bent arms when she caught. But is able to keep it moving nicely. Pack salto, very clean, legs glued together. And that's something that Abbey High School is really, really great at. Giant full right on top of the bar, into the double tog, rises way above the bar, and gets the stuck landing. Very nicely done.
She actually almost looked like she was a little bit over on that full pirouette on top of the bar. I thought maybe for a split second she was going to have a little arch in her back, but
she's experienced and she knows how to adjust herself in the air to be able to get that landing and nail it.
Now we have Nicole Riccardi following the 9.75 from Tori Vetter.
Has a career high of 9.875 on this event.
And that was just about as good as I'd imagine she can do it. She maybe had the tiniest little hop, a 0.5, I would say.
Yeah, I think she needs to absorb the landing a little bit more and really hold the stick instead of bouncing up, almost like she's kind of on a trampoline. But still a very great vault, good technique in the air. And that's following the 9.75 from Tori Vetter in the leadoff spot. So
I would imagine that score is going to be a little bit better, which is exactly what they're looking for.
Absolutely.
Now we have Naomi Morrison. She's following the 9.875 from Abbey High School. Love that Ginga release. She keeps her legs glued together, which is very difficult to do.
Yeah, just about as good as you can do it. has a career high of 9.9 on this event. Looking for a stuck landing here, double layout. I don't know if you call that a stick. It was pretty dang close, maybe slight movement of the foot on that landing, but still going to get a big score for Michigan.
Competing next for Ohio State on vault, Rayna Malice.
Next up, we have Rayna Malice following the 9.825 from Nicole Riccardi.
Rayna actually has a 9.925 career high on this event, so and that is a phenomenal vault. Really honed in on that landing.
Saw maybe the slightest bit of pike down in the hips, but that was beautiful. It was a great vault, and I imagine that's going to score just a little bit higher than Nicole Riccardi's 9.825 because she was able to get that landing. Ohio State is zoned in on vault right now.
Up next for Michigan, on the bars, Carly Ballman.
So up next for Michigan on bars, we have Carly Ballman, who unfortunately missed the season last year due to an Achilles injury. And they're very, very thankful to have her back. She's a beautiful gymnast.
And very consistent. We watched her in practice earlier this week, and I don't want to jinx her, but I will say we saw her stick hold 3 dismounts in a row. She has a double front, which is very hard to stick.
Yep, got to open it up and find the landing, and a really good job with that. I also want to point out the handstand. She did a great job of hitting those handstands right on top of the bar, exactly what the judges want to see. And that was a beautiful routine. I mean, maybe like the tiniest of movements on that landing, but really, really good.
What she actually did in the routine was textbook.
She has a career high of 9.9 on that event, and I'd imagine it's going to be somewhere around that.
Now we have Sydney Jennings. She has a huge vault, and she gets the landing.
Huge vault. Yeah, Ohio State is just zoned in on these landings, and that's exactly what they need to do. You know, we talked about the difference with Michigan's lineup having a bunch of 10-0 start values, a full lineup actually, and Ohio State not having as many. And you know, if you're going to go for your Trinko fulls, you need to be clean, you need to stick the landing, and that's something that Ohio State is very, very good at. So they are rocking and rolling over there. And Carly Ballman on bars with a 9.9, so matches her career high there.
And that brings up Sierra Brooks, who's capable of a big number here.
She's been so rock solid for Michigan on this event. Piked Jaeger, very nicely done.
Ooh, and she's a little bit archy in that handstand.
Really fought to push it over the right side of the bar.
But that's an aggressive mistake. You want to see them, especially at this point in the season, really going for those handstands and going for stuck landings like that. That's one of the most difficult bar dismounts currently being done in the NCAA. Double layout with a full twist.
Does such a great job with it. The body position in the air, completely straight, and she's really good. We talked about Carly Ballman being consistent. Sierra Brooks is so consistent as well. Very good at nailing that landing.
Now we have Jenna Layback following the 9.9 from Sydney Jennings. So they only found a 0.5 in deduction on that vault.
And that is the first 10-0 start value in Ohio State's lineup. Yurchenko full on, pike off. Very difficult vault. It's difficult because you have to do the full twist before your hands make contact with the table. It can be hard to get good height off the vault just because of the entry, but I would say she did a pretty good job with that.
Competing next for Michigan, on the bars, Natalie Wojcik.
Now we have Natalie Wojcik. She's following the 9.9 from Sierra Brooks, and Natalie is absolutely stunning on this event. She has a big Delchev release that you're going to see right off the top that really awes the crowd every time.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's a home crowd or an away crowd. They love this release move. It's because it's so dynamic. Check out the height on that.
Nice final handstand there. She gears up for double layout dismount. And she gets a stuck landing.
She has a career high of 9.975 on this event and is knocking on the door of a 10, I'd say.
And up next for Ohio State on vault, Peyton Harris.
So back over to vault for Ohio State. We have the freshman Peyton Harris. This is the other 10-0 start value that they have in their lineup. It's going to be Yurchenko 1.5. Really tight form in the air. Just that bounce on the landing. The judges are probably going to take a 10 for that, but really clean in the air. And a big vault to have a freshman coming in and doing a 10-0 start value like that.
That was following the 9.825 from Jenna Layback. So Ohio State does exactly what they need to do on vault to try and keep pace with Michigan here. Yep, looking to drop the 9.75 from Tori Vetter. Now we have JC Vora, the sophomore, following Natalie Wojcik's 9.95. So this is a no pressure situation for JC. She can just go up and do her best gymnastics without having to worry about, what's happened before her. She's been set up nicely by her teammates, and Michigan currently looking to drop a 9.85. And a great routine for JC, especially for her first time in the lineup this season. Yeah, she has a career high of a 9.925 on this event from last season.
And really last season, she stepped up when she was needed most. There was times when she was thrown into the lineup last minute and stepped up and did a phenomenal job. So she's the kind of athlete that you can trust for sure.
Absolutely.
And only a sophomore, so lots of gymnastics still to come for her. And it looks like we're going to get an exhibition from Kaylin Morgan. Now, I got to rave about Kaylin for a second here. She did an exhibition routine last week against Michigan State, and it was a lineup-worthy routine, let me tell you. She has beautiful lines, as you're about to see. She stuck her double front dismount, same dismount that Carly Bauman did before her, and we mentioned that's a very difficult dismount to stick. You really got to open up at just the right time, so excited to see what she does here today. I think her confidence is just continuing to build, and yeah, check out the long lines, the way that she keeps her legs glued together, not only on the release there, but on the backswing. Sometimes we see legs come apart a little bit. She did a great job there. Let's see if she can get the stuck landing here, finish that handstand right on top of the bar. It's going to do a blind change into a double front. Oh, and a tiny little shuffle on the landing, but
she is saying, Scott Sherman, put me in that lineup.
Amazing.
And such a bright future ahead of her. This is just the beginning. And it's so incredible to see her out there with so much confidence already. And
yeah, Bev said that she's coming along really nicely. Obviously, we saw the vault. We just saw that amazing bar routine. She's also getting ready on beam and floor as well. Someone that even this season we might see in the exhibition spot or maybe even a lineup spot. She's looking really great. So now we're going to switch events. We have Michigan going to the beam, Ohio State going to floor. Michigan currently leading Ohio State with a 99.05 to Ohio State's 98.5. So we're going to take a quick break and then come right back for rotation 3. We are back with Michigan versus Ohio State. Michigan currently leading with a 99.05 to Ohio State's 98.5. And what were some of the highlights of the last rotation for you, Brett?
Well, I think for Ohio State on ball, it's got to be that 9-9 from Sydney Jennings, half-tenth away from being a perfect vault. I really, really liked how Ohio State minimized deductions. They had, whether it was a stuck vault or a vault with a very small hop back, I think they absolutely came out on fire and did exactly what they needed to do, and they were still able to go a 49.225 without Lexi Edwards. We didn't mention Lexi Edwards. She was resting on that event, and she is capable of getting a massive score for them.
She's capable of perfection. We mentioned the 995 start value being perfection for that vault. She's actually scored that in the past, so definitely just resting her today, but definitely can only add to the potential for the Buckeyes on that event.
And then for Michigan on bars, they were really able to get their landings this week, which is something that was missing from their performance against Michigan State last week. So really nice to see them come out and make that improvement. They had Sierra Brooks and Carly Bauman go 9-9 to beautiful routines, and Natalie Wojcik kept it out with a 9.95. Doesn't get much better than that, so they are heading over to Beam, and Ohio State is finishing up warm-ups on the floor.
So we're going to go ahead and give you the lineups. For Michigan on Beam, we'll have Carly Bauman in the leadoff spot, Gabby Wilson second, Nicoletta Kulos in third. It'll be our first look at her today. Sierra Brooks fourth, Abbey High School fifth, and Natalie Wojcik in the anchor position. And then Reina Gugino actually scheduled as an exhibition on Beam at the moment.
And then for Ohio State on floor, we have in the leadoff position Savannah Gonzalez, followed by Tori Vetter, Peyton Harris, Claire Gagliardi, Lexi Edwards, and then Ella Hodges to round things out in the anchor position. And then Caitlin Mintz will be doing a exhibition routine.
Looking at what to expect for this rotation, I think for Ohio State it's a very good event. They're ranked 6th in the nation on floor exercise. That's actually their highest ranking on any event. And for Michigan, not a weak event. They're definitely a strong B team, but they're working on gaining that consistency and confidence when they're in competition. So we're going to be looking for that here today with them on Beam.
And Michigan, they actually have quite a bit of depth on this event. I mean, actually, like I said, we were in the gym earlier this week, and I was really impressed with how many people they have that can actually go up and do a lineup-worthy beam routine. So they did an exhibition, like I said, and they had 2 beams going simultaneously. We had the lineup on one beam, and then you had the backup lineup on the other beam. And I saw a lot of really lineup-worthy gymnastics on that event. So,
and shows depth for sure. They have options.
Carly Bauman is going to lead off with usually what is a solid routine.
She's a very welcome addition back into Michigan's lineup after that injury last season. Definitely we're missing her on this event. She's very, very calm, very cool on this event.
Yeah, Bev Plotke said that she's kind of stoic, but once you get to know her, she is a lot of fun and she really opens up.
And you can really see her confidence growing on this event. Slight little balance check there. You saw a little bit of movement with the shoulders, but just keeps it moving. Actually has a career high of 9.925 on this event. And she's exactly the kind of person that you want in your leadoff spot. Just someone that can go out there and hit a really clean routine. Love that side summy with straight legs. You don't see it done like that very often. A little balance check on it, but doesn't look too nervous, and that's exactly what you want to see. Even when you have mistakes, you want to just keep it moving. Don't get in your head about it. Just the dismount left. She's going to do a pike gainer. Pike gainer. There we go. Stuck landing. Strong start.
That's actually a new dismount for her this season.
Yes. There was a rule change. C dismounts are now required, so no more side aerial layout full. We saw a lot of gymnasts doing that last year. She actually, prior to the injury, that's the dismount she was doing. So new dismount, but it's working well for her. And this is Savannah Gonzalez on floor to lead things off for Ohio State. Has a career high of 9.85 on this event. She's done that 3 times. opens with a double pike. Nice controlled landing there. Front layout, front full. Again, controlled landing, exactly what the judges want to see. Last pass, 1.5 to punch front. Great routine for the leadoff for Ohio State.
We love a good M&M remix.
And I like the ending pose, just kind of like chilling out on the floor there. I love it.
On the beam, Gabby.
So back over to beam for Michigan. We got Gabby Wilson.
She's following the 985 from Carly Bauman. And what I love about Gabby on this event, she's so confident. You really see, not just in like her gymnastics, but the way she dances. She's very aggressive. I feel like she's attacking every move.
Yeah. Here goes her acro series. Oh, a really great save on that. Looks like her foot slipped, and honestly, a very veteran move to be able to save that. I feel like she easily could have come off on that. Still wants to finish this routine strong. Yes, they're gonna deduct for that wobble on the series, but you don't know what's gonna come after you, so you still gotta go out there and hit a routine to the best of your ability to get the highest possible score, because yes, you can drop the lowest score, but you know, if someone were to go up and have a fall after her, you might still have to count her score, so she can't just throw this routine away because she made a mistake. So I'm gonna be looking to finish strong here with a stuck dismount on this double tuck. Super difficult dismount, and gets the stuck landing. She stuck a couple of those in practice earlier this week, so she's got sticky feet. And a strong way to finish that routine.
Yeah, and I think that really, that's something that they wanted to have improvements on from last week. Last week when they were making mistakes, you could almost see them get in their head a little bit and get a little nervous. I feel like Gabby was cool, calm, and collected. That's exactly what you want to see. Over to floor, we have Tori Vetter. She's a redshirt freshman. Coach Paula Civic made it very clear that she wants to be called a redshirt freshman. Obviously, having missed the season last year, she only competed in one meet and then had a torn labrum. Is definitely considering coming back for that 5th year that's available to her, and a really great double tuck to open up the routine. That was beautiful. You really want to have a controlled landing. That front foot did not move at all. She comes to Ohio State with a lot of experience. She's a 2018 Nastia Cup champion, and something that Coach Meredith Paul Civic pointed out was that she doesn't really get nervous. She's the kind of athlete that you can throw up in any event and say, hey, can you do a routine for us this week? Like they did a couple weekends ago. They threw her in the vault lineup, and she went out there and nailed the routine. So she's like, no big deal. I got this. And even her demeanor right now on floor, she looks so relaxed.
You know, really fierce competitor, and has a great routine going. Punch front to a Rudy, that's a 1.5 twist, and really great landings. That is gonna score really big, I'd imagine. Not really a whole lot to deduct on those landings. Yeah, has a career high of 9.875, and could very well score around that, or maybe even potentially a little bit higher. We'll have to see. Now we have our first look at Nicoletta Koulos, the senior. This is actually her first season in the beam lineup. Made her debut at home a couple weeks ago and scored a 9.85. So she's just been looking really great, looking really confident on this event. And I know that Coach Plocky is just so thrilled that she's doing as well as she is in her senior season. Has really stepped up. She's a captain this year, and not only is embracing that role, but I think you're seeing the confidence in her gymnastics. Here goes her acro series. Big handspring layout, step out, nailed it. Yeah, she had a thumb injury last season and unfortunately didn't really get to compete as much as she would have liked to, but she said that she feels her sophomore self coming back. She feels very confident, embracing that captain role and just having fun with her gymnastics and trusting herself. A little bit off there on the jumps. She's following the 9-8 from Gabby Wilson, so looking for a hit routine here, and she's well on her way.
Similar to Gabby, I feel like she's really aggressive in her dance. She's attacking it, she looks confident. If there's any nerves, she's showing no signs.
1.5 twist for the dismount, hop forward on that landing, but a hit routine. Exactly what Michigan wants to keep that momentum going.
Next up we have Peyton Harris. She's following the 9-8 from Tori Vetter, which
a little bit low.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that.
Peyton, definitely someone that is capable of a big score, has a career high of 9.9 on this event. And expected to do big things for this program. She's already been Big Ten Freshman of the Week this year. Opens with a nice, clean double pike.
She has great musicality on this event. She's really hitting every beat. Gearing up for her final pass. Front full to punch front. Maybe a little bit short on that landing, but a good routine. I like that she had an E pass as her second tumbling pass, that front double full. Great stuff.
Competing next for Michigan on beam, Sierra Brooks.
Next up we have Sierra Brooks. She's following the 9.775 from Nicoletta Koulos.
Sierra was actually named Big Ten Gymnast of the Year last year. Not only a phenomenal gymnast, but an incredible person. Now, she's gonna modify this series. Normally does a triple series, the back handspring, layout, step out, layout, step out. Took out a layout, step out just because she had that mistake last weekend against Michigan State and just wants to, you know, get her confidence back, but definitely something that's going to be added back in down the line.
Front toss, very solid. This has been a great routine.
Yeah, another one of those gymnasts that really just attacks beam. Dismount with the back handspring step out, double twist, and gets a stuck landing.
Up next for Ohio State on floor.
Michigan State.
Gagliardi.
Michigan looking to drop a 9.775 from Nicoletta Koulos at the moment. I said Michigan State because I was thinking about the fact that Sierra had the fall last weekend against Michigan State and how great it must feel to come back and hit the routine here today.
Seems as though she's definitely put that behind her. Love to see it.
Now this is Claire Gagliardi. She's one of the fifth years for Ohio State. They've got 3 fifth years, and what I love is that Coach Paula Civic mentioned great Rudy to double stag there. Whoop.
Covered it very nicely in the dance.
Kind of fell out of that, but Coach Polisivic mentioned that all of the fifth years are not on scholarship, so they are paying their way, and that just shows, I think, the commitment to this program and their passion, not only for gymnastics, but for Ohio State. And, you know, Claire is someone who is very, very passionate. This routine is a tribute to her time at Ohio State.
Yeah, so she started out as a wide-eyed freshman. Then right now it's All Things Ohio State. The fight song in there, which I imagine is not well received here in Ann Arbor, but at home I'm sure it is. And then she finishes out with a dance party. She's celebrating the end of her career, graduating, and the next chapter of her life.
Yeah, she's been a great addition to this team. Came in a little crunched on that landing. She's normally so consistent on this event. Actually has a career high of 9.95. First meet of the season this year, she actually got 9.95. So not going to get that here today with those landing deductions on that last pass, but
Next on beam for Michigan,
what a talent for Ohio State.
Now back over to beam, we had a 9.95 from Sierra Brooks. So what a way to bounce back from some of her, stumbles earlier in the season on that event. This is Abbey High School. Abbey is another fifth year. We went from fifth year for Ohio State to a fifth year for Michigan. Originally was planning to be done with gymnastics, but took a little bit of a break after last season and unfortunately comes off on the cat leap to side aerial. But she took a break last year after the season and ultimately decided that she wanted to come back and finish out her last year of gymnastics with her team. She's just having a lot of fun and trying not to put the pressure on herself. That was something that she talked to us about. She's the one that clinched the title for Michigan in 2021 at the National Championships. It all came down to her on beam. She needed a 9.85, posted a 9.925. It was a beautiful routine, and kind of after that felt like the pressure of having to be the hero or having to live up to that every single time that she's on the beam. And this year, in her fifth year, really just wants to focus on having fun and enjoying every moment, not putting that pressure on herself. A beautiful finish there, definitely not the routine she wanted, but it's not disastrous. They so far can drop that. They're going to be counting that 9.775 from Nicoletta Koulos and the 9.8 from Gabby Wilson, but they still have Natalie Wojcik to go, but she's usually phenomenal on that event, so
yeah, we're going to be looking to drop that score from high school once it comes in. Now back over to the floor for Ohio State, we have Lexi Edwards. Actually qualified last year to the NCAA championships as an individual on vault. So very unfortunate we didn't get to see her here today on that event, but she's great on floor as well. Actually has a career high of 9.975 on this event, which she did last weekend.
And that double pike is huge. It almost kind of looks like borderline laid out.
Yeah.
It's a very open double pike.
I feel like you could walk underneath her when she does that because she gets so much height. One and a half to punch front. Ohio State at the moment, currently looking to drop a 9.8, and Edwards has a great routine going here, caps it off with a double tuck with a beautiful landing. I'd imagine that's going to go well over 9.8.
Next for Michigan on beam, Natalie Wojcik.
And now up on beam for Michigan, we have Natalie Wojcik in the anchor position. And what better person to go up on beam after you have a fall. She is a national champion on this event. She actually did that her freshman year in 2019. Just makes beam look so easy. She's the kind of athlete that you can trust to go up there and hit a routine. She does almost identical routines every time she goes out there. It's just so great on this event. Beautiful leaps, making sure the judges can clearly see that 180-degree split, going well over 180. And the triple series, beautiful. Has a career high of a perfect 10 on this event, so Michigan would love to have that right now to cap off this rotation. Just the dismount left. She's going to do a round off 1.5 twist. And her heels kind of lifted up off the floor there. I don't know if you'd call that a stuck landing, but we'll have to see what the judges decide to do with that. It was a beautiful routine. And the good news for Michigan is they're going to get to drop that 9.125 from Abbey High School right before her. So
This is going to be an exhibition routine.
Actually, I think
Yes.
the anchor for Ohio State, Ella Hodges.
Yes, getting ahead of myself. She's following the 9-9 from Lexi Edwards.
Clean double pike to open, kept those legs pasted together. And the controlled lunge, the gymnasts are allowed to take that step back as long as they're showing control, meaning that they're keeping their front foot planted on the ground and then just stepping back, making it look effortless. You don't want to see any movement of the feet aside from that step back with one leg. And the score comes in now for Natalie Wojcik, 9.975, so near perfection. And I love that it doesn't even feel like a celebration when she gets a 9.975. They're just used to it. Ella Hodges looking to finish out strong here for Ohio State. They're still looking to drop a 9.8, so pretty solid rotation so far for Ohio State. Just one more pass here for Hodges. Front handspring to Rudy, layout step out.
Kind of missed the punch on that a little bit.
Yeah, and the front foot on that layout step out on the landing, she moved it, so maybe a little bit short of rotation there, but still gonna get a big score, and I would think that it would go over 9.8. But who knows?
Competing next in an exhibition on beam for Michigan, Reina Gugino.
Now over on the beam we have exhibition from Reina Gugino. This is actually her first time exhibitioning this event this year.
Yeah, has competed in the beam lineup before, but one of those athletes that's just working on getting consistency and gaining confidence on this event. And I think a great way to do that would be hitting a routine right now. A little bit off on the series.
Something that head coach Bev Plotke talked to us about was, you know, they have a lot of depth, but they don't want to put people in unless they're going to go out there and have a good experience. They don't want them to be stressed. They don't want them to be, you know, anxious about it, even just health-wise. It's a lot of what factors into, you know, who goes into these lineups every week, and even who gets to exhibition. They take health into consideration, they take mental health into consideration.
Yeah, and if there's a skill even that an athlete is struggling on, such as the dismount or something, they don't want to push it. You know, they want, when the athlete goes out there, especially for the first time, as Reina Gugino dismounts there with a 1.5 twist just a step forward, but they want to make sure that when a gymnast goes out there, whether it's in the lineup or even an exhibition spot, that it's a good routine that she's going to walk away feeling confident with. And then we have an exhibition for Ohio State on floor to close out this third rotation.
This is going to be Kaylin Mintz. And a beautiful full in. Love to see the big E tumbling passes in these floor routines.
And she looked a little bit off on that landing on the jump series, but kind of covered it well with the choreography. Very smart move. punch front to front full. A little bit under rotated there. You see she took the step backwards. It's a sign of under rotation. This is an athlete that has not been in the floor lineup yet for the Buckeyes, so this is good experience for her to not only last pass here to hit a routine. There she goes. I was holding off to say, hey, I wanted to make sure for sure she was going to hit it, but really great landing there on that double pike and a good confidence boost to be able to hit a routine on the road against a rival school. So very good.
And that'll do it for the third rotation. We have Michigan State on top right now with a 148.4. Michigan, excuse me. We are just really wanting to talk about Michigan State, apparently. And then Ohio State with the 147.65. So we will take a quick break and be back momentarily for rotation 4.
Welcome back to Chrysler Center. We have Michigan on top with a 148.4 to Ohio State's 147.65. Michigan with a pretty comfortable, little over 7/10 lead as they head into their best event where they're ranked #1 in the nation. That's the floor exercise. We'll get there in just a moment, but Brittany, what were some of your highlights from that last rotation?
Yeah, I would say the clear highlight was Natalie Wojcik's 9.975 beam routine. Obviously, the score is impressive, but I think what's even more impressive about that is how she was able to go up after a fall from her teammate Abby High School and didn't let it phase her at all. And I think really the entire lineup deserves a lot of credit for that. They, had some points in there where they had a little bit of nerves, but they didn't make it a big deal. They really seemed to stay in the zone and keep moving forward with confidence, which I think is a massive improvement from what we saw last week against Michigan State.
And that's something that is going to be big for them as they move on through the season, especially in the postseason. If you are a little bit off, you want to be able to just adapt and keep moving forward, and that is exactly what they did here today. So great job for Michigan on beam.
And then for Ohio State on floor, it was a great rotation. Everybody went above 9.8, so super, super solid. We saw lots of controlled landings. And then the highlights got to be Lexi Edwards with that 9.9. Huge tumbling and for sure a veteran on that team.
So we have one more rotation left here to go today. We have Ohio State on the beam. We'll go ahead and give you that lineup. In the leadoff spot, it's going to be Hannah Oliveros. Alexis Hankins is second. Third will be Peyton Harris. Fourth, Sydney Jennings. Emma Pritchard will be fifth, and then Ella Hodges will be in that anchor spot. And JoJo Warga is scheduled to do an exhibition on a beam.
And then over on the floor for Michigan, we have Nicoletta Koulos leading Michigan off, followed by Abby High School, Naomi Morrison, Sierra Brooks, Gabby Wilson, and you may see a familiar name there in the anchor spot on floor. Miss Natalie Wojcik is scheduled to make her return to this event. She, the first couple weeks, has been sitting out. She's had some inflammation in her knee that they really noticed on floor. It was affecting her the most, and
yeah, they said it affects her a little bit on ball, but mostly on floor. So they've been just taking it easy on that event, not really pushing it, especially at this point in the season. She is an integral part of this Michigan team, and they really want to make sure that they have her throughout the whole season. So just playing it a little bit safe and excited to finally see her in the lineup and looking for a great debut for her on this event this season.
Competing first for Ohio State on beam, Hannah Oliveros.
Okay, so in the leadoff position for Ohio State, we have Hannah Oliveros. And I love this mount. Shows off her flexibility and her strength.
Hannah has a career high of 9.9 on this event, which she's done twice. Front aerial to backhand twin step out for her series. Very nicely done. And a little bit off on that split half. Side aerial and great save there. Saw the dip of the chest, grabbed onto the back of her leg. Yeah, just not square with the beam. And the second whether it's your hips or your shoulders, any part of your body starts to deviate from the center of the beam, it can easily throw you off, but great job for her to stay on that beam and finish strong.
Competing first for Michigan on the floor.
So on the floor, we have Nicoletta Koulos, who has been on a roll this season. Has a career high on this event of 9.925 and has actually done that in the first 3 meets of the season. So she has a little bit of a streak going on floor. And a great dancer too. You're going to see that in this routine. She has some dance experience. Her sister was actually on the dance team here at Michigan and loves to be able to combine the two worlds of gymnastics and dance. Going to open with a 2.5 twist to punch front. Perfect. physicality in this routine, really hits every beat.
And she's really good at finding the cameras too and making eye contact. She's someone that, you know, she's not afraid to look up into the crowd or make eye contact with the camera. You can just see the confidence just radiates from her.
Last pass, double pike. Needs to rotate this all the way around. Beautiful job.
She lifted that front foot just a hair.
Another hit routine on floor for the senior Nicoletta Koulos.
And up next for Ohio State on the beam, Alexis Hankins.
So next up on beam, we have Alexis Hankins. She's following the 9.525 from Hannah Olivero. So this is going to be a really critical point in the meet for Ohio State. That's a score that they ideally are going to want to drop. So the pressure is now on the rest of this lineup. Slight balance check on that full turn, but she keeps it moving. A nice backhand spring, layout step out, centers herself nicely. Alexis has a career high of 9.9 on this event. Front toss, nicely done. Very nice leaps there. She looked just a little bit under 180, especially on that first one, but very solid.
Just wants to get this dismount on her feet. Round off, double twist. Pretty sizable hop back there on the landing. The judges are definitely going to take at least a 10 for that, but it's a hit routine. And again, looking to drop that 9.525 from the leadoff spot. And that brings up Abbey High School on floor for Michigan. Has a career high of 9.975 on this event, and this routine is a lot of fun. It's a little bit more dancey than I think we've seen from her in the past, but
yeah, she said it took her a minute to get comfortable with it. Really performing and putting her all into the dance, but I think that every week she seems to get just a little bit more confident. She's going to open up with a really big Arabian double front and absolutely nails it. I can hardly hear myself speaking because the crowd just erupted. That was just about as good as she can do it.
She said that she's a little bit of an old soul. She loves the 70s, the 80s, and absolutely fell in love with this ABBA remix. Felt it was perfect for her. And like you said, a little bit out of her comfort zone with the dance, but I think she's fully embracing it now.
And the crowd seems to love it. They're clapping along.
She has a great routine going here. Just one more pass, just a 2-pass routine for her this year. Finishes with a back 1.5 to front fold. Dances right out of it. Great routine for Abbey High School. Love that Emmy pose. And that's going to be a big score, I'd imagine. Yeah, following a 9.875 from Nicoletta Koulos in the leadoff spot.
Next up on beam, we have freshman Peyton Harris. She's following the 9.8 from Alexis Hankins.
And we talked about this a little bit earlier on in the meet, you know, her becoming the Big Ten Freshman of the Week and, you know, just all the experience that she has and the big difficulties she's bringing this team. Really is making a big impact right out the gates, and that's something that Meredith Paulovic said that she hasn't seen in a freshman, at least not in a while, you know, to be able to come in and make such a strong contribution to this team.
Not just in her gymnastics, but in who she is as a person.
Yeah, well, and Meredith said that she's not afraid of hard work, and she pushes the rest of the team without even realizing. Really nice series there, front aerial, back tuck. Really important for her to get that connection. for a strong finish here on the dismount. Double twist. Oh, kind of lifted her feet up a little bit. She was on the back of her heels, but managed to hold on to it.
And that was a great routine.
For Michigan on the floor.
But I was saying real quickly about Peyton, she really pushes the rest of the team. Doesn't even realize that she's doing it in the gym. Just how strong she is in all the events that she does.
And they want to really rise up to her level. Now this is Naomi Morrison, following the 9925 from Abbey High School.
And a gorgeous full twisting double back to open the routine. Such clean form and a really great performer as well.
Yeah, she's really just cool and confident on this event. She seems in her element.
Her performance is more subtle. She's not as big and flashy as some of the other athletes you might see even just around the country, but definitely is feeling the music, you can tell, and has great tumbling as well. Really plays to the crowd and to her teammates. And another athlete, we talked about this with Nicoletta Koulos, but knows where her cameras are as well.
She does.
Last tumbling pass, double tuck, and right into the ending post. Love this finish. She's like, oh yeah, I just did that. That was a great routine. Following the 9925 from Abbey High School, I have a feeling that's going to be another big score for Michigan.
Now this is Sydney Jennings, following the 9825 from Peyton Harris. They are doing exactly what they need to do on this event.
Yeah, scores building. The 9-8 from Hankins, 9-8-2-5 from Harris. Jennings still looking to get a little bit up from that. Actually has a career high of 9.85 on this event, so love to have something like that right now. Backhand swing step out, swing through to side aerial, really unique combination. A little bit off, her shoulders returned to the side, but
that's a unique combo. You don't see that very often.
And she did a great job saving it, pulling herself back square with the beam. Cartwheel, gainer layout full off the side. I love that dismount. It's one of my favorite dismounts in all of NCAA.
She had the slightest bit of movement, but that was a great routine. And again, Ohio State, their scores seem to be building, so it's exactly what they want to see. So they can drop that leadoff score from Hannah Oliveros. This is Sierra Brooks, following the 995 from Naomi Morrison. So Sierra is set up to just do her thing.
Has a career high of 9.975 on this event. And you're going to see why. She's got big tumbling. And often knows how to control the landings very well. Opens with a full twisted double back. And there she goes, drops it right in.
She's doing a two-pass routine this year. That's something new. Coach Bev Plotke said that that's something that she's kind of changed her philosophy on a bit this year. In years past, they were always really pushing the difficulty and really aiming to have everybody in the lineup with a three-pass routine, but she realized at the end of last season, they had some athletes that were a little bit banged up just from pushing every week, doing a three-pass floor routine. And these two-pass routines, they can still push the difficulty. They like to open with the big E tumbling pass like Sierra did, and some kind of combination to D as a second pass. And that's exactly what you're going to see here. She's going to finish with a punch front through to double back. And this is a routine that still can score very, very well. So they definitely don't hold back. Beautiful finish. Incredible Sierra routine. Brooks doing Sierra Brooks things.
Competing next for Ohio State on beam, Emma Pritchard.
So back over to the beam. We have Emma Pritchard about to go. She is following the 975 from Sydney Jennings. So another hit routine in the books. Let's see what Emma can do.
She has scored 9.8 on this event twice this season. Has a career high of 9.875. So definitely going to be looking for something in that region. Solid there on the side aerial. Goes for her flight series. Back handspring, layout step out, rock solid. You know, Ohio State, they're a team that really doesn't have a weakness. They're pretty even-keeled, I'd say, on all four of the events. And I think they're showing that here today. You know, they've had a few blips here and there, but really looking like a strong, confident team that is only going to continue to build and grow as the season goes on.
Yeah, they have a lot of big goals for this season. They want to be in the evening session of Big Tens and put themselves, you know, at the regional finals with a chance to make it to the national championships. If one of those bigger teams were to make a mistake, they really feel like they're the kind of team that can put the pressure on, as we are seeing here. And this brings us to Gabby Wilson. She has the student section up on their feet right now for this routine, and this is one of my favorite routines. So intense, great dance, and big tumbling as well, which you're going to see here in just a second. Opens with a huge full twist and double back. Doesn't even grab her legs on that. That's how powerful it is. Second pass is a combination tumbling pass, front layout to front full. They call that the Maddie Ziegler strut. Great flexibility there on the jumps. Gabby is just so much fun to watch on this event. Not only the incredible tumbling, but the dance is just so fun. We're going to finish out strong here. Double tuck. Great landing. Strong finish. I think she just blew a kiss there to the section of parents in the crowd. That was a phenomenal routine, and I'm really glad to see Gabby go out there and nail that final pass. Really the last 3 weeks of the season, she's had some struggles, whether it's over-rotating or under-rotating. That's really the first floor routine that I feel like she's put together that was to the best of her ability. Absolutely. And Michigan at the moment still looking to drop that 9.875 from Nicoletta Kulo, so they're sitting pretty right now. And then over to beam for Ohio State, we have Ella Hodges. Yep. She a little bit shy of 180 on that first leap there. Ideally, you want to see them go above 180. That way it really registers in the judge's mind, like, hey, I actually hit this. Leaves no doubt.
Ella actually had, unfortunately had to come off there on that series. I was about to say that Ella actually had a nerve injury on her ankle last season. Landed short on a beam dismount and kind of felt the stain in her leg, and it took 2 months to figure out what it actually was, and then finally had surgery. And you know, she's excited to be back. They're excited to have her back in this lineup. Meredith said that she's a selfless person, really cares about everyone on the team, and is just a great person to be around. And she's a beautiful beam worker as well. They call her Elegant Ella, which I love. And that was really impressive. A standing layout step out, very difficult. She's had minor checks on almost every single skill, but definitely not the way they wanted to end this rotation. But, you know, Ohio State, they've had an incredible start to the season. They're still going to go over 196 here today. And kind of like we talked about with Michigan, can't be 100% all the time. So I have no doubts that Ohio State is going to do great things this season. As we head over to the floor, and Natalie Wojcik, her first appearance in the lineup this season. pass, back 1.5 to front layout, beautifully done. So clean in the air on that. Natalie's a captain on this team and is really embracing that role this year. She obviously, everyone's going to remember her for all of her gymnastics achievements, but she really wants to be remembered for the teammate that she is. She finishes this routine a little short on that double pike, but she really wants to be remembered and have her legacy at Michigan be who she was as a person, the kind of teammate that she was, the kind of person she was. Yeah, and I think that tells you everything you need to know about what kind of person Natalie Wojcik is. So nice to see that she's not only an incredible gymnast, but that she has a huge impact on her teammates as a person as well. Bev actually described her as the mother hen, so she's very caring and nurturing to other members of the team, so I love that. And what a way to come back on floor. That should give her the confidence that she needs to hopefully continue to stay in that floor lineup if she's healthy. So Michigan currently with a 197.975 team score and looking to drop the 9.875 from Nicoletta Kulo. So depending on what Natalie gets, I'm not quite sure with that last pass with her being short, but very close to a 198 here for Michigan. As we take a look at an exhibition performance on beam for Ohio State. This is JoJo Warga. Front aerial to back handspring, a little bit slow on that connection. But that's one of those things that the judges aren't always consistent, with taking a deduction like that. As long as you keep it moving relatively quickly, they tend not to deduct for that, so I think she should be fine. But either way, this is, like you said, just an exhibition routine, so not a score that's going to count for their score or anything like that. Really nice kick over front. And a strong finish. And it looks like we're not going to have an exhibition for Michigan on floor like we originally might have thought. So that does it for the competition today with Michigan versus Ohio State. Michigan finishes with a 197.975 to Ohio State's 196.350. Sierra Brooks comes away with the all-around title, 39.725, which is not too far off of her all-around record, and actually not even too far off from Michigan's record
All-time.
all-time, yeah. It's a 39.825 held by Natalie Wojcik, Elise Ray, Beth Weimer, and Sarah Kane. So really impressive day for Sierra Brooks coming away with that all-around title. Natalie Wojcik in her all-around debut for the season posted a 39.550, and Peyton Harris, the freshman for Ohio State, with a 39.250. Great day for her as well. Yeah, and I think both these teams have a lot to be proud of. Michigan, obviously, going just shy of a 198. Can't complain about that. Another great score that they will be very, very happy with. And for Ohio State, this is, like we mentioned right off the top, going to be a good road score for them for when NQS kicks in, and you have to have 3 of those scores be away scores. So, they can definitely improve from here for sure, and as the season goes on, look to get bigger away scores. But this is a good away score for them that they're definitely going to like to have in their NQS when that time comes. So, and this is early in the season. Both these teams still have lots of areas to improve, but not too bad here today in Ann Arbor. Lots of great takeaways, a lot of great gymnastics that we saw, and bright futures for both of these teams this season. So that will do it for us. Again, the scores are Michigan with a 197.975 edging out the Buckeyes with a 196.350. I'm Ashley Bueller alongside my twin sister Brittany, and thank you for joining us, and have a great night.